actually Thursday. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. I do also have in the studio with me this morning one of my guests, Connie Ray, and we're going to talk with Connie and find out all the great things she's got going on. I do want to welcome to the studio, though, we do have our own from Hoosier Ag Today, CJ Miller. Good morning, CJ.
Hey, good morning, Becky. You're right. It's already Thursday. Are you kidding me?
Who did this to us? It is so funny because January is the month that you feel every day of this month. You know what I mean? Are we still in the January?
It's interesting, Becky. I just read that I think it was last Monday, the 20th, that studies show that the third Monday of January is typically the most depressing day of the year. What does that say for January 30th, much less January 20th? So, I'm looking out my window right now. I see far less snow than I did days earlier, so I'm a little encouraged knowing that a Groundhog Day is just around the corner, and knowing that hopefully the groundhog, does he see his shadow or does he not see his shadow?
Yeah.
I forget which one that is.
I'm when you're saying that too, I can't never. Isn't it funny? It's been a year ago since we've done this.
See his shadow, we get sunshine.
Okay, we get sunshine if he doesn't see his shadow. If he doesn't see
his shadow. That's what I was thinking. If he doesn't see his shadow, that means an early spring, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what Connie says. Absolutely.
Okay.
Connie has spoken.
I'll believe Connie. Whatever Connie says at this point, hey, it's gold to me. So.
I agree. Well, and where are you actually looking at your window at? Let's tell our listeners.
Well, I'm in Indianapolis and near the Greenfield area, just east of Indy, and I'm only about an hour and change north of where you are there in Washington County, right?
Absolutely beautiful.
And I love, and Salem is such a gorgeous area. The whole area is southern Indiana. Absolutely love it. I'm originally from Shelbyville, Indiana, and so very used to. In fact, I'm going to be at down in your way here in just a few weeks. The National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, which is February 12th, 13th, 14th at the Kentucky Exposition Center, Freedom Hall. So looking forward to meeting many of the farmers in Washington County and southern Indiana at that big event coming up here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I'd love to go to that. It's a great time. Yes, we're just a little bit from Louisville. The station's actually in the Louisville market, even though we are Indiana. So we kind of got the best of both worlds. And we do love to go up to Indy too. Indy's always a fun time to go up to and enjoy that. So CJ, I appreciate you getting the chance to talk with you this morning. And of course we're with the Hoosier Ag Today, and we're going to be talking something near and dear to everyone right now, and kind of talking about the bird flu. What's going on with these birds?
Well, it's interesting. It all kind of started. I'll give you a brief kind of what's happened here since the beginning of this year. So January 3rd, we received an alert from the Indiana State Board of Animal Health that's a positive test for bird flu, which the scientific name, I guess they call it HPAI, highly pathogenic avian influenza. They identified that at a commercial turkey farm in Jay County, Indiana, which is northeast of Muncie, east central Indiana. Since then, we've had 2 additional cases reported in that same county. We've also had, including one that impacted more than 350 hens at a commercial egg-laying facility there in Jay County. We also had a report of bird flu in Allen County, that's Fort Wayne, and then also Adams County, which is south of Fort Wayne. Well, fast forward to last Saturday night, and I'm looking at the email right now. We received an alert, Hoosier Ag Today did, from the folks with the Indiana State Board of Animal Health. And they alerted us that they received a positive test of bird flu at a commercial egg production facility in Jackson County, which is Seymour, Brownstown, that area, just north of, not far from where you are in Washington County. And it impacted 2.8 million birds. And so I, having been from that area and knowing that Rose Acre Farms is the big production facility for eggs in southern Indiana,
Right.
I reached out personally to state health officials on Saturday night and was able to get a hold of one of them, and they were unable to confirm that it was Rose Acre Farms, only because that's, from my understanding, that's not what that's not their job. They're not allowed to specifically identify the name of the farm, the name of the company impacted, nor the specific location of the farm or facility, other than to give the county in which it was impacted. So I reached out to the folks with Rose Acre Farms, sent an email to their communications team on Saturday evening, tried to get a hold of Tony Wessner. He is their CEO. And then on Monday, received an email confirmation from Rose Acre Farms that, yes, it was their facility near Cortland, Indiana, which is about 6 miles northwest of Seymour, that truly was impacted, that they had employees that noticed that there were birds, hens that had died unexpectedly, and decided to contact health officials, and they ran the test, and yes, they were positive for bird flu. So as it stands right now, all 2.8 million of those birds at that facility near Seymour will be, and I'll use the term that state health officials are using, those birds, that flock, will be depopulated, which means they will be destroyed. And then also, once they are destroyed, the premises will be disinfected, and they usually treat the facility, once the birds are depopulated, with a specific cleaning agent that has a specific chemical. And I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but once that is, once they get the okay from state health officials, then they can begin repopulating their flock in that particular particular facility in Cortland, and repopulate those 2.8 million birds. But it's probably going to take about 4 months before that facility, once it's cleaned, once they get the thumbs up from state health officials, another 4 months before they can bring in brand new baby chicks and really begin the process to produce eggs at that facility once again.
Right. Wow. I think CJ, has something like this happened before? I mean, it's, you've got kind of this is one of our biggest suppliers, so our hearts are heavy for them because we feel this, and I know that when you are dealing with things like this, this can happen, and I think we've had this before, and I just want to reassure everyone, they bounce back well. They know how to handle it. They are very professional, and they know exactly what to do.
Absolutely. In fact, speaking specifically about Rose Acre Farms, they have 16 different facilities across 7 states.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
This is not so. So Rose Acre Farms, they are, to my understanding, the second largest supplier of eggs in the U.S. Second largest producer in the U.S. of eggs. And but when you hear that one of their facilities, which has a flock of 2.8 million birds, has been impacted, they're certainly going to take a hit. There's no question about that.
Right.
Now they do have other, once again, other facilities spread out across the state. We also have in the state of Indiana another egg producer, a well-known egg producer in the northern half of the state, MPS Farms, which is based in North Manchester, which is near the Wabash area. And to my understanding, they have not been impacted. But a lot of eggs are produced in the state of Indiana. In fact, we're one of the top producers of eggs in the entire U.S. But the bird flu has really taken a hit on egg production. We're talking millions of birds have been impacted. And as you may have noticed, as a lot of folks may have noticed, if you go to the grocery store, the price of eggs on the shelf has increased significantly, Indiana State Poultry Association, and she stresses that the eggs, the chicken, the turkey, the duck, all the poultry products that are on your grocery store shelves are still safe for you to purchase, bring home, put into your fridge, and eat for your and prepare for your family. Because bird flu does not present a food safety risk as long as the poultry is cooked, as long as the eggs are cooked. Same way with dairy products, because we know here last year we received word that several states, not here in Indiana, but Michigan being the closest one, has had a case of bird flu identified in dairy cattle. But pasteurized milk, still safe to drink, still safe to use as an ingredient. If you're putting together mashed potatoes, you can still use pasteurized milk. So still safe to eat, still safe to purchase. But in terms of why the eggs are the price they are, it's a simple case of supply and demand. And I think the first thing that a lot of folks want to do is point their finger at the farmer or the egg producer or the egg supplier and go, well, they're responsible for jacking up the price. Well, it's not the farmer. It's not the egg supplier. It's not the egg producer. It's the egg. It's the price. It's the folks who set the prices for the eggs, because eggs are a commodity. And so our hope, and I think the hope of a lot of folks within the poultry industry and the ag industry in general, is that health officials, not just here in Indiana, but all across the U.S., are able to contain the spread of bird flu, and that these production facilities, including the one near Seymour, get back and up and running, once again, about a 4 or 5 month time span. Yeah. And in terms of once those eggs are being cranked back out or being put back on store shelves, then we'll see that reduction and that ease in prices that we're currently seeing. And also, I think what we're seeing a little bit of a run on eggs, because now that it's been in the news, Becky, a lot of folks are probably going to the store and buying more eggs than they normally would, similar to what we saw with toilet paper at the beginning of the outbreak of COVID, March of 2020, where everyone decided to run out and grab toilet paper, and it was just it was one of those scare moments that folks had, and that may also play into the fact that eggs may not be as prevalent on the shelves as what they were as recently as a week or 2 weeks ago, Becky.
Well, I appreciate you explaining that, because, even before Christmas, we started seeing the prices going up, and a lot of people were asking, on my opinion, and I'm like, I do not know, so I appreciate you kind of explaining that. I hope that gives kind of a peace of mind. It makes sense. But a question, CJ, and someone had asked me this. Do you, I guess, okay, with the bird flu, and maybe this is I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you're speaking of like birds and ducks and maybe like cardinals, blue jays, whatever we have, would they be a possibility a carrier of bird flu, or do they have bird flu too?
Well, what health officials are telling us is that this virus is being spread through common waterfowl. We're talking migratory birds. We're talking ducks, Canadian geese, and not just those, but also robins, a number of other birds that are being impacted that are in the wild. And that's the concern that a lot of state health officials have, especially and those who are listening in the Salem area, if you have a backyard flock of chickens or a hobby flock, so to speak. The main concern is if you have them kind of roaming outside, free range, if you will, there's the chance that you may have droppings from a bird like a duck or a Canadian goose that happen to fly overhead or land nearby. And those droppings may be in the area where your hobby flock is located. Well, if those particular waterfowl or birds who are wild and migratory have bird flu and have that virus, be on the lookout if they notice for example, if they notice all of a sudden the death of birds in their hobby flock. That's the main symptom of bird flu is certainly the death of the bird. If they notice a lot of sneezing, a lot of other symptoms of that nature, that the birds are sick. So at the same time, the only way that humans can get bird flu is through direct contact with one of these animals that have the bird flu. Once again, if you have the product from the grocery store, you're safe. So that's a concern that state health officials are posing or passing along with, rather, to those, especially those with backyard hobby flocks, not just in southern Indiana, but all across the U.S., Becky.
Right. And there's a lot that, have their own chickens and, and eat their own, eat their chicken and eat the eggs and everything. So the symptoms of like a symptom of let's say a chicken has got bird flu. Like, is it like a week that they survive, or what's the process of, like, is there a week in there that, or like you said, they sneeze? I didn't know, I guess.
Well, and I'm reading here, in fact, from the State Board of Animal Health, they say some of the signs that a bird in your backyard hobby flock, or any bird with bird flu, some of the signs include sudden death without any clinical signs, a lack of energy, a lack of appetite, decreased egg production, soft-shelled or misshapen eggs. They also say that birds will often have a swelling or a purple discoloration of their head, their eyelids, nasal discharge, coughing, sneezing, that sort of thing. So I would just caution those who have a backyard hobby flock just to be extra cautious of those birds. Now, once again, as long as the eggs are, as long as you're not pulling a Sylvester Stallone and eating the eggs raw like he was in the movie Rocky.
Right.
As long as you're preparing the eggs, you're cooking them. As long as the chicken is being cooked at a proper temperature and being prepared like it should, then there's no threat of the spread of the virus that way, because the product is still safe. But in terms of, once again, if you have chickens for eggs in your backyard, or even just raising them just for meat purposes, by all means, just keep an eye on the appearance of the birds and that sort of thing, Becky.
Well, that makes sense, yeah. Well, it's really, and I guess we don't have any kind of a cure. I mean, there's nothing that they can give the chickens in their feed or anything to get over this, or it just it.
Well, I know that I believe, and from my understanding, having talked to some other folks with Purdue, there have been efforts to try to develop a vaccine, a bird flu vaccine that would be administered to these chicks. That would certainly be the ultimate goal. Now, a vaccine for bird flu has not yet been developed, and this would be for the chicken, for the turkey, for the duck, for commercial production. But at this juncture, nothing has been developed. But I know that research scientists, and I know that they're working on such a vaccine, but to my knowledge, Becky, nothing has been developed as of yet, but I know that they're probably working to fast-track such a vaccine, Becky.
Right, because I've heard, like, some of the other maybe farms talk about, like, we don't give antibiotics, or we don't, unless we needed them. So I guess there are antibiotics out there for them that they might, give to the chickens. But there's not anything, but it still doesn't keep away from the bird flu.
Absolutely. Well, and also I wanted to, in terms of Roseacre Farms in the Seymour area, they do, and every egg production facility, chicken, turkey, duck, any commercial facility, they had to follow very strict guidelines from USDA and the Indiana State Department of Agriculture and the Indiana State Board of Animal Health when it comes to biosecurity, which means that they have to wear booties on their shoes or on their boots when they enter a facility and remove them when they leave the facility. They have to wear suits, and they have to practice different measures of that, so that way they don't bring the virus in, and they don't, if the virus happens to be in the flock, they don't bring it out and travel to another facility and accidentally bring it in there. So this particular virus, a lot of folks also want to say, well, maybe Roseacre Farms wasn't doing their due diligence. I would say that they were. Talking with state health officials, they tell me that this is the reason why they call it highly pathogenic avian influenza, because it is, in fact, very easy to spread. It is highly pathogenic. And so the droppings from a bird from overhead could very easily get into a barn or a facility, or a smaller bird could very easily find itself into a facility just by mere accident. That maybe its droppings got into the facility. We don't know how the bird flu got into this particular facility or any of these facilities, but it's at this juncture it's very easy to spread. And once again, the folks with Roseacre Farm in their communication and their written statement to me on Monday stressed that their biosecurity measures are certainly in place, and they're going to make sure that this virus doesn't impact any more of their commercial facilities.
Right. And I've spoke with them before, and they do go to every measure, and I think they used to even discourage their employees for even having chickens at home. I mean, they go to every measure. They don't want any kind of a contact with any other outside birds. I mean, the way I remember it years ago, and they do. I think you don't want to kick somebody when they're down. Yes, this is horrible, but this is and I do believe it's happened before, maybe with their other facilities or maybe other companies, but if you look at all the positives, how many days we have not had this, I think sometimes we look at what we have, right, or we don't look at what we've been having, we've not had this, and they do a great job, and like you're talking about how many facilities they have and everyday operations. This is not a normal, this is just a horrible setback or bump in the road, if you will, for Roseacre Farms. And I don't think I don't think we need to question. I think they do, and I know I'm with you on the guidelines. I think people will need to be remembered that they have to strict guidelines. And I think that we need to, I always try to stay on the positive, because I'm sure they've got enough on their plate right now, so we need to uplift them and just kind of remember that, all of the great days that we do have chicken on our table and eggs in our refrigerator,
Absolutely, Becky. And, to your point in terms of how much the poultry industry means to the state of Indiana, for example, and you may not know this, but Indiana is first in the U.S. for duck production, thanks to Culver Duck up in Elkhart, thanks to Maple Leaf Farms in northern Indiana. Indiana is also third for egg production because of Roseacre Farms, because of MPS Farms in northern Indiana. Indiana is also fourth in the nation for turkey production, and that's because of Far Best Farms and another, especially in southwestern Indiana. We're talking Du Bois County, Gibson County, that area, a lot of commercial turkey farms across southwestern Indiana and throughout the state. So when it comes to the poultry industry, we're talking 13,000 Hoosiers work for the poultry industry in Indiana, and it brings in more than $18 million in total economic activity to the state. So the poultry industry is a huge economic player, or a huge industry, I should say, for the state of Indiana. And when it comes to this particular setback, thankfully it's, it is a small setback. I know that state health officials have been working very hard. I know that the brand new state's veterinarian, Dr. Kyle Shipman, with the Indiana State Board of Animal Health, I was looking forward to seeing him this weekend at the Purdue Ag Alumni Fish Fry. he's a little busy making sure that that everything's taken care of across the state, and especially down in Jackson County. So, once again, state health officials, they're on it, and they're working hard to contain the spread. And once again, to your point, I had my fingers crossed as well. As a person who likes to buy eggs and to eat scrambled eggs and go to Denny's and enjoy the Grand Slam breakfast.
Ooh, yeah.
Once again, still safe to eat. Stay away with the local restaurants there in Salem. If you go in for breakfast and order eggs, it's still safe to eat. But just know that you may be paying a little bit more in the short term. But I think hopefully the spread will be contained, and then we'll see prices back to where they should be. Hopefully here in about 6 months, maybe even a year or so. But it's going to take a little bit of time for those prices to come back to normal.
So, CJ, the takeaway for Connie and I is that we need to go get an Egg McMuffin, right?
Well, and once again, I wouldn't encourage panic buying, because once again, that's what we saw with toilet paper back 5 years ago with COVID. I would say if you could buy eggs, buy the normal. If you buy a carton at a time, buy the normal carton, and I wouldn't buy 4 or 5 at a time, necessarily, because you certainly don't want to panic buy, and that certainly drives the price up even further. Because then you're diminishing the supply. But the eggs are still going to be there, because once again, there are a huge number of egg suppliers. Once again, this only impacted one of 16 facilities that Roseacre Farms owns and operates, and they're across not just Indiana but 6 other states. So once again, as long as you're just want folks to know, and there's been a lot of misinformation. Can you imagine that, Becky? People spreading misinformation on social media?
Never.
Oh, that can't be. But a lot of folks are going on and spreading a lot of no pun intended, foul things about what's happened with bird flu.
They need to be flocked.
Exactly. But once again, as long as please know that the chicken, the turkey, the duck, the eggs that are on your grocery store shelves, still safe to eat, still safe to prepare at home, still safe for your family, and just make sure that you're cooking the eggs and that you're cooking the poultry, and hopefully, to your point once again, that this is all resolved in a short amount of time, Becky.
Right, they'll get it cleaned up. They're professional. They know. This is their beat. They know what they're doing. So.
Well, and I'm not trying to discourage you and Connie from getting that Egg McMuffin.
We didn't. No, it was not a rush on. We just thought that.
Egg McMuffin and still, I wouldn't go through the drive-thru and ask for 20 of them.
No.
But I think if you and you're buying Connie's breakfast, right?
Well, on a radio budget, CJ, did we not have this conversation before we went on the air? Come on.
Oh, that's right. I apologize. I didn't mean to spill the beans on that, but once again, you can still enjoy the Egg McMuffin. Just maybe get 1 or maybe 2 at a time there, Becky.
Well, I tell you what, real quick, for a commercial for McDonald's, I can download the app, save some money, and yes, I can afford it. It's in the budget to buy Connie a Egg McMuffin this morning, yes.
Oh, well, that's very sweet of you to do so, Becky.
Right, well, CJ, just check in with us anytime. We appreciate all you do, and we love Who's Your Ag Today. You guys are rock stars. We love that. We love our farmers. We have a huge, group of our farmers in our community. They're very passionate. They do a great job. We love them. And we love to check in with them too. And this too shall pass. This is just a bump in a road for just up our neighbors up the road. We, instead of we know that they're going to get it together. But in the meantime, we appreciate you hopefully squashing some rumors, explaining a little bit more, and having for our listeners to have a little more peace of mind, on that.
Absolutely, Becky. And once again, farmers in the Salem and Washington County areas, be sure to check out our website. It's HoosierAgToday.com. You can also download the Hoosier Ag Today mobile app. It's a free download on iPhone and Android. And if ever, we are the number one source for Indiana ag news across the state. So we certainly will keep you and the folks all throughout Salem, Washington County, and southern Indiana, once again, no pun intended, we'll keep everyone abreast of the situation involving chickens and egg chickens and bird flu, Becky.
Well, I didn't want to peck on you, but I wondered how you were going to go, where you were going to go with that.
Oh man, we're having way too much fun, Becky.
I know. All right, CJ, have the best day ever, hon. Okay.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye. All right, CJ Miller with Hoosier Ag Today, and pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, we do have Connie and a lot to think about. You know, do you and Mike, do you guys eat a lot of eggs? Are you egg eaters? Or?
We are egg eaters,
Yeah.
and we do.
Confess, I am an egg eater.
And I do have chickens, so it was
yeah.
interesting to hear what he said about people
Right.
who have home hobby flocks. So,
Right, yeah.
yeah, we do. We
Yeah.
enjoy our girls.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I've never had chickens, but I've had friends that have chickens.
Uh-huh.
I am amazed at how much personality a chicken has.
Absolutely.
And you they're really fascinating, you know.
My kids laughed at me because I used to say I'd never have a chicken, but I love my girls, and when I go out to the barn, they run to me.
Oh,
And so yes, they do have personalities. We have some sassy ones,
yeah.
and those who like
Yeah.
to control everything.
Right, right. And it's the phrase, the pecking order. That's where that comes from, because there is a
Yes.
leader.
Yep.
And I know I learned all about it. I was like, this is the coolest. I had a friend that has chickens, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so cool.
Yeah, our Evie, she's the head honcho in there.
Evie
is her name.
They all probably say Evie. Well, that's cool. Well, and we're so glad to have you in the studio this morning. And I do need to thank our sponsors this morning. We jumped right in. Meadowview Health Care Center, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Rose's Restaurant, Fox Burley Wealth Management, Dr. Minnie Gunn, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Marshall Monuments, and McAllister Land Consulting. I do real quick want to piggyback on what CJ said. Don't make a run for it. I know our Walmart gets trucks every day, several trucks a day. And they did their best keeping the toilet paper at that point, and they're doing great with the eggs. So don't go buy 12 dozen eggs. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to stock up like that, because
You got to be able to keep them as well. So
exactly. Yeah.
You can't do that like you can toilet paper.
There you go. That's exactly right. Yeah. All right, Connie, what you got going on, and tell us what's going on with you.
Well, again, this is we're going to be talking about Outside the Walls Love Lunch this year. We've had a really big year. Outside the Walls is a community service organization. We're nonprofit. Nobody makes any money in this organization. It's strictly volunteer. And we are serving the people in Washington County. The money all stays right here that people give. And we have more than doubled the serving that we did last year. So 2024 was a really busy year for us. We either built, rebuilt, or repaired over 9 ramps this year. And we have 2 in the wings right now that are needing to be serviced, but we're waiting for a break in the weather. But we have been extremely busy with serving the folks in Washington County. So this Love Lunch is going to be this is our biggest fundraiser of the year. This is our 4th year for it. And we are looking forward to enjoying a wonderful day, and just wanted to share that with the public. But we have been extremely busy on meeting the needs of Washington County.
Well, and that's where I do want to talk about the lunch, and love it, love it, the Love Lunch. But what about some of the things that you do? Because I do know, but I'd like for our listeners maybe that are not familiar.
Well, we do such a variety of things, and the reason we organize is we've been in organization for 15 years now.
That's awesome.
And we really founded this organization to kind of help people who fall through the cracks of other organizations. We have wonderful community partners here, and we help with Salvation Army. We'll help and assist our trustees. We do whatever we can. We work with the Homeless Coalition. But our thing that we saw years ago was that there were people whose needs weren't getting met because they didn't qualify, they were married or they weren't married, and there's lots of different reasons why you wouldn't qualify for different organizations. And so our point was to try to cover those areas where needs were not being met. One of them was ramps, because your trustee can't build you a ramp. Salvation Army doesn't give to build ramps. So there's just a lot of things people couldn't do to get a ramp, and there was just a lot of needs in our community for them. We have a lot of elderly people and handicap as well, and they just needed the assistance, and they couldn't afford to do it on their own. So we stepped in.
A wheelchair ramp.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, we put wheelchair ramps on homes. We put them on mobile homes. Whatever the need is, we will try to do it. And people who already have a ramp, we have done a lot of repairs this year on folks who have them and couldn't get them taken care of.
I love that so much.
But we also serve in other ways. We It doesn't matter what you need. If you need a gas card, we'll get you a $25 gas card. Maybe you need to go to work. Maybe this is your only way to get to apply for a new job. You're out of money. You want to go to work, but you got to get there to apply. So we have helped people with gas cards all through the year. And I had some folks just last month. Things were starting to get cold, and she had just gotten a brand new job, and her husband was not working. He's was a little bit ill, and so we filled up their bottle gas tanks. She said, "Can you help us to get some heat in our trailer?" I said, "Absolutely. Let's go take those bottle gas tanks to Ace Hardware, and we'll get them filled up." And then we gave them a car full of gas and sent them on their way. So I mean, there's all kinds of reasons people call us. I mean, sometimes it can be very strange, but I mean, we've even assisted in getting people to doctor's offices. We've I had one lady last year. Her husband had passed away, and she needed help with her rent. Well, after that, we realized she needed transportation. She didn't have a vehicle at the time, and we were able to get her to the Social Security office and places she needed to go to wrap up all the business from her husband passing away. And just tremendous things are out there that people have need of, and we just try to see what we can cover.
I love that, Connie, because there's some cracks there, and just like I can't honestly think of a organization or a group, that, and I'm just going to use, for example, the wheelchair ramp. Like, I don't know of any groups that, like when you need a wheelchair ramp, you have a family, has something has happened or something. I don't know of any or any, like what I'm saying, organizations that come and build wheelchair ramps besides outside of the walls.
I don't know either. Now, if you're military, you can get one through the military. They will come and put up a very nice ramp for you as well.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But if you're not military, I don't know of another way. We have tried to reach out to different organizations, which SICKLE, that's the organization for handicapped people. They call us.
Oh, do they really? Well, now that's something, isn't that a huge compliment on your end? I mean,
well, it is, and like I said, there's lots of organizations who are familiar with us now, and that is why our applications have more than doubled in 2024 than what they were in 23.
Well, like that, and I hope they double after this program. They probably will.
Well, we'll see.
Well, because you don't know, and it's those things like, okay, just like what you're talking about, like your Social Security, your Social Security card, that's a lot to get for someone to, if they don't have means to get in their car and drive, or and they and I know that that's one office that has to have everything and has to have proof and all of this, or to get things changed and stuff. And I've always had a heart for, how do people get this done, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to be honest, Connie, just us, you and I, that are mobile and are blessed that we can get out and do, there's a lot that you have to go do sometimes.
Yes, I know, even with some of the assistants, that we've been able to refer them to other programs that could help them in things. a lot of times I have to do the footwork, or I'll do all the phone calls for them and make sure that they're, especially for elderly people.
Absolutely.
They just get so confused sometimes.
Well, and it is confusing.
It's very frustrating to be put on hold.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times I'll do some of the footwork for them, and I'll make some phone calls and get them to the right person, and then tell them, this is who you need to call and this is what you need to say. And so sometimes I assist people, in that way.
I love that. Everyone needs an advocate.
Yes.
Everyone needs someone helping them on that, and now they're trying to do everything online.
Yes,
a lot of them
and
don't
that
know.
is very difficult.
Right, and nobody likes to, and going back to the, so that possibility of going online, and some of them do not do that or have, the means to do it. And then when they're put on hold, it's like you wait forever, and you don't know what department for sure. I mean, I'm just thinking of all of the hurdles that some have to go through, and maybe have never had to go through, or do not know, or have a lot going on, maybe have some health issues, and just trying to figure out.
And that is the case most of the time.
And and then you've got all this, and it's almost, I feel like sometimes, and I get sad for people on that. It can be overwhelming, and they've got enough on their plate, or they've got enough going on that that, so they need someone. And what a blessing you are to help, to be that person. I hope we have more people like you. I hope it's contagious. I hope more people.
I think it's getting that way. I know that one of the trustees in town here, Miss Jennifer Bowers, she's also works. She's on our board as well, but she has organized that community partners meeting. You need to have her on. And there are a lot of the community organizations that are coming together once a month, and we share with each other what we're doing. And oh my gosh, I have gotten wonderful information of things that I could turn over to an applicant and say, hey, I just talked with so-and-so at this organization, just give them a call, and there's somebody there that's going to assist you in that. So that has been a great help as far as helping each other to know what the other one is doing. Sometimes, and you don't want to duplicate. If somebody else is got this down, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So let's let people do what they do best.
Absolutely. And I'm a huge believer in that. And a lot of times, I'm going to go to Dolly Parton. You got to toot your horn for people to know you're coming.
Exactly.
But you do have to. You have to let people know what they have and the resources out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're right there.
Right.
But people don't know that.
They have no clue.
And that's where I want to be a part in this radio station. If there's anything that I can help or let anybody or somebody learn something, that that was our. If we can make someone's day or make it a little lighter or a little bit better, that's what the goal is here. And
absolutely.
And I think helping out, and I think there's a lot of and whatever your age, if you're seniors or maybe just medical or something going on in your life, that's a lot going on. It
is.
And I think everybody, I'm a firm believer in everybody needs an advocate. Someone needs somebody that will help them and steer them in the right direction, or give them some resources available.
Absolutely.
And I think that's fantastic. I know I've seen you guys. I just want to say, on a personal note, I've seen you guys work, and outside the walls, you guys do fantastic. I'm a firm believer in what you do.
Well, thank you.
Your mission is fantastic. Yeah.
It's our goal to bless people in Washington County, and our goal from the beginning has been to offer people a hand up, not a handout.
Right. Yeah.
I can give you a fish, or I can teach you how to fish. You know how that saying goes. But we really want to see people, and this year we're kind of changing some of our goals this year, because we are wanting to do more education and more I'd like to be a more job reference program, to where anybody that contacts us that doesn't have a job, we got the list for you where to go.
Oh, I love that.
And find out where you can go to work. Because a lot of times you do get abused and used, but I'm trying to get people, our goal is to get people to stand up and be self-sufficient and say, I can do this. Even if it means getting them into Ivy Tech for a free program that they have. Sometimes they offer free programs there. I think there was one for Pharmacy Tech not too long ago was being offered.
Oh, that's a blessing.
So, there's lots of things out there people don't know, but if you don't step up to the plate and help yourself a little bit, there's not a whole lot anybody can continue to do.
Right.
But that's what we'd like to see happen this year. We want to help people. We'd like to start a new financial program where people can learn how to use what they have and budget their finances. We tried a little bit of that last year, and it was a little bit too advanced for some of the people, so we're going to try to meet the middle of the road with that and go, okay, let's just get you being able to use what you have, and then we'll go from there, whether you want to do investments down the road, once you get a good job. But we want to see people turn their lives around, not just meet your need. I want to see you change your life.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Well, I think, helping them in jobs, and like we do, and I'm going to just insert this real quick. Remember Salem Crossing in Meadowview, they will pay you. You will get a paycheck, but also can go to school for CNA.
Absolutely, yes.
I think these are, we have treasures, Connie, in our community.
We do.
That I just think that is such a blessing, because a lot of times when let's say you were a mom or or a family, or and a dad, mom, dad, family, that you have children or what I mean, and you also have to keep a paycheck. But also you're bettering yourself and going back to school.
Yes, absolutely. That's what's so important. That's what we want to see. We want to help you get a better job, and also to teach people how to, you can't make $1,000 a month and have $1,000 a month rental property.
No.
Let's get you into something less expensive and balance your money out a little bit so you can go a little further. When you got a better job, go get that $1,000 a month rental.
Yeah.
But until you do, learn to live within your means.
Yeah.
And I think the education programs that are out there for people are just there are a lot of free education, and there is a lot of grants that can be gotten for people that want to pursue and further their education.
Yes. And I love that, what I mean, and I think that's wonderful. And I love that giving, like you said, giving help, giving, and showing them, directions, and they have options. I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
And but and then a lot of them do have concerns, because you do have to keep, the lights on. You do have to have a paycheck, and that's a blessing that if they have that, where it's twofold.
Well, they come to me this month for help with rent or utilities. If I don't see that they've got a way of making some money, they're going to be back next month.
Yeah.
So
they need a game plan.
Yes, that's exactly right. We need a game plan to where they can further themselves, and you don't need me anymore. I'd love to just not be needed.
Well, I know, and wouldn't that be, and what even the huge blessing would be is that they're making so much money that they can give back to outside of the walls.
Absolutely, and some have, honestly.
I know
We built some ramps this year. The people were so grateful. She has already given, I think, twice to the organization. But she said, you all came along when we didn't know what we were going to do. And she said, and not only did you build us a ramp, but you built us a lovely ramp. She said, I kept thinking, oh my God, this is going to take away from the look of my house. But she said, you all have built such a nice ramp. I think it has upgraded my home. I'm like, well, thank you for that.
It's beautiful.
But yes, I mean some people are very grateful,
Yeah.
and for those that can afford it. But she was really between a rock and a hard place. They needed a ramp right away. They didn't have time to go file paperwork, and wait for 6 months to get a ramp in. They needed to get that for their daughter to get home. So it worked out really well.
Yeah. And you bring up another point too. I mean, they might have the finances for it. It's just finding the person to do it.
Sometimes yes, we've had that to happen when people have helped us. The Lions Club this year helped us build a ramp for one of their members, and they said, we just don't have the manpower. We said, well, we'll get in there and build it, but they paid for it, and it worked out really wonderful.
Well, you've
got
a nice
ramp.
Really talented people that are involved with this, with your mission. You know what I mean?
Well, we hope so.
No, you really do. No, it's you've got all kinds of diversity there that, and you've got shakers and movers. You've got those that know how to do stuff and are, I believe when God gives you a gift and they've been blessed with gifts, you use it or you lose it. Use those gifts, and I think they do. They put them to good use, and that's great. It works out wonderful.
Yeah, we've had some wonderful volunteers this year from several of the different churches who have just come alongside of us and just worked really hard. We had one young man. He's very young, but he just wanted to be there to help. His name is Evan, and he was just a tremendous support to us this year. He was on every job except for one. He had family in town and couldn't come, but we pinned him as our volunteer of the year this year because he just was faithful and wanted to be on those jobs and would stay till the end every time. So it was a blessing.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk now. We've got coming up. So
Yes.
we love Outside of the Walls. Now let's talk about what we got this fundraiser. Tell us about this Love Lunch.
Well, we are going to be doing our 4th annual Love Lunch, and it's going to be at Southern Hills Church, as it has been every year. They allow us to use their auditorium, and it's going to be Sunday, February the 16th. And we'll be serving from 12 to 2, but the program will take a little bit longer than that, but you can get food from 12 to 2. And but we're going to have, and the food is prepared by Daily Bread Catering, and that is Chefs Bart and Ashley Page, and they are fabulous. Their food is phenomenal. So they'll be making our meal, and then we'll have desserts after the dinner. But we're also doing a silent auction this year, and we've had some wonderful donations. We've gotten a print from the Herman Fox Foundation, and we've had that framed, and it's going to be up for auction. It's a beautiful print. I'm not going to tell what it is. People who know his artwork know that he did a lot of local things in Salem, so we have a lot of beautiful things that he did. And then we also have private work done. We have a pyrographer. Is that what you call it? A pyrographer? Wood burning. We have a beautiful piece by her, and we're going to have some stained glass art by Whitney. And we have just gotten things from Link's clothing store and from Towers Tees on the square. So people have been very generous to give us items to put in the silent auction this year. So we would really love for people to come out and at least put the bids in on those auctions. This is our biggest fundraiser, and as you've just heard us say, we've served a lot of people this year, and we know how the needs have been growing in everyone's communities. There's no doubt about that. So the needs are going to be there, and we need to have the finances to meet these needs. So we just encourage everybody to come out. The lunch is free, so you come and you enjoy a wonderful meal, bid on the auction pieces, and we'll have donation jar out there for people to add in donations as well. We'll have testimonies of people who have been assisted this year by Outside the Walls, and we'll be sharing a little bit of our new agenda for the year and what we want to project for the 2025. But we also always have our dessert auction, and that's going to be a live auction. That'll be done, and then we'll close out the silent auction. But before that, we will do the live auction with the desserts, and we are going to get some fabulous things. We have, I think, some ladies making a Milky Way cake, and we're getting some rum cakes, and just some most delicious things coming. And so we would really encourage everybody to come out. You know, if you've been served by Outside the Wall, or you know a neighbor that's been served by Outside the Wall, please come to the Love Lunch and be prepared to make some kind of a donation, small or large. We'll take it all. But we really encourage you to do this. This is our one big fundraiser we do for the year, and we would really like to see a nice crowd to come out.
I love this. I think it's so nice. It's also, if someone, we're talking, here this morning, but if someone has questions or wanted to know more about this, this is a golden opportunity to come and talk with you.
Yes,
about all
absolutely.
the great things you do.
And we also will have our volunteer list there. We do that every year where people can sign up if they've never known what we do and they would like to volunteer at one of the programs. Another thing I'm trying to do this year is get into every church and see if we can get the churches to form a team in their church that says, we'll help you with one project this year. And that way we know we've got volunteers ready for whatever project we have to do next. Because sometimes we don't just do ramps. We just got through repairing a floor for a gentleman. He had a leak, and it had totally rotted out his floor, and he fell through his floor and had a hole.
No.
So we repaired the hole. We had coolies come out and repair the leak, and it all worked out really well for him. So we have lots of other things we do besides build ramps. But and we need help, and so it's great to get these volunteers to sign up during our Love Lunch.
I love that. And that's that's a great opportunity to do. And yes, and I do want to say, I talked about the ramps because I think I don't know of anybody else that does ramps, you know what I mean? So, and, they're kind of hard to find, but I think, a lot of families need them, but like the flooring, those are things that just like, and it's like, what would you do if you didn't have this mission going on. This
Yeah.
outside the walls.
Well, I know sometimes people call us and say, I'm at my wits' ends. I've called everybody and nobody's going to help me.
Well, exhausted all of your resources,
yes,
and sometimes, and on everybody's defense, everybody gets busy, everybody's and maybe I don't know that I would know how to build a ramp, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be very pretty, you know what I mean? But now I could demo. I mean, I would do that.
Hey, I'm
for demo.
I get the hammer out and the saw and I help
give
them.
me a hammer and I'll have it knocked down. Or actually, let me bring my grandkids, okay? Tell my grandkids, we'll give them each a hammer, don't touch them.
There you go.
And then that will be down in a very short time.
One of the things we do as well is if we have put a ramp on your home or your mobile home, and you are no longer in need of it. This year we were able to move a couple of ramps from one home to take it to another home. That was a blessing because we put everything in with screws so that we can undo them if we need to. And of course that stabilizes them a little better as well. But we will take them down if people need us to do that, and we will use them on someone else. We try not to waste anything.
No, exactly. No, right?
My husband sometimes will go over to repair something. I'll say, what did we need to purchase for that? He goes, nothing. I had scrap wood and I used it.
I know. I'm a firm believer. Hey.
So,
believe me, I'm a firm believer on that too.
Yep.
But I think that's nice to know. So like, let's say that they needed it at the time, the season that they were in.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
then maybe it's a different season, they don't need it at that point. Then what a blessing if they could bless some other family.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's
sometimes
awesome.
their loved one has passed away, and they're like, we no longer need this, so we use it to be a blessing to somebody else.
Yeah, I love that. Connie, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
But I also wanted to give our number.
Yes.
One other thing we're doing this year at the Love Lunch is the person who brings the most guests will receive a $100 gift card. And so if somebody wants to reserve a table, say you're bringing 8 people, we'll just reserve that entire table for you and we'll put reserved on it. But they can call us at 812-967-9255 and we will reserve you a table, or if you have any questions about the lunch, you're welcome to give me a call, and if we don't answer, we will call you back. Just leave us a message, and that is 812-967-9255. Just let us know that you're going to bring a bunch of people.
Yay! Well, that's great. That's great. That's right. Come one, come all. Right?
That's right. We want you to come this year.
So save the date on your calendar, Sunday, February the 16th, from noon to 2. So is that something like, so if you, like, you can arrive at any time between
any time between 12 and 2, and you're going to be served. Our goal is to get everybody served at least by 2.
Okay.
We will start our presentations and the auctions. We'll be doing the auctions and then closing out the silent auction and letting people know whose bid was accepted, was the highest bid. And then, because that's what I said, we'll probably be there till at least maybe 3 or 4, but we want to make sure we kind of get everybody served if we can between 12 and 2. Anytime you come, you'll be served.
Love that. Love that. Connie, keep up the great work, and we can't leave this program without saying a big shout out to Mike. Yeah.
Yes, he is our main man.
And he gets things done. That man gets things done.
He does, honey. He may be 80 years old, but he's been around this square and visited with every business there is.
Yeah. And I've seen him work. I mean, he does some things that, like,
he gets right in there.
He does, and
still builds those ramps.
He does, and I don't want to, I don't want anybody to ever take advantage, but he can get things done for people.
Yes, he does, and he will figure out a way.
Yes, he does.
When sometimes the other guys have stood there and scratched their head, he'll go, "Oh, I think we could do it this way."
Yeah,
he'll get it done.
Yeah, he does. So, so I am a huge fan of both of you, and I appreciate you, Connie, for contacting.
Well, we appreciate you having us on this morning.
Keep up the great work and all that you do, and what a wonderful mission, what a huge blessing, and all of the lives you're touching. And for our community. What a great, thank you for doing this for our community.
Yes, it's our home too, and we want to bless the people. We want people to be able to move up in their lives and be a force to reckon with in their world.
Love that. Love that. Also, we want to remind everybody, please keep in your thoughts and prayers American Airlines. Been a tragedy this morning, and we just want, and the Black Hawk helicopter, definitly keep their families in your thoughts and prayers. So,
absolutely.
All right, thank you, Connie Ray. Thank you for coming in this morning. Keep up the great work. Love Lunch, Sunday, February 16th. You are invited from noon to 2, and we need to thank our sponsors: Mediview Healthcare Center, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Rosa's Restaurant, Fox Perley Wealth Management, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Marshall Monuments, and McAllister Land Consulting. And thank you, everyone. And Connie, let's have the best Thursday ever, hon.
Absolutely.
Head on over to McDonald's in Salem, French Lick, and Bedford to celebrate after the game, to enjoy that one-of-a-kind taste of McDonald's or warm up with some hot coffee. McDonald's is saving you money with the McValue menu at breakfast and lunch. You can get either a sausage McMuffin, sausage biscuit, sausage burrito, or a hash brown, and get one more for just $1. And at lunch, you can get either a double cheeseburger, McChicken, 6-piece nugget, or a small fry, and get one more for just $1. Stop in on Tuesdays, where Happy Meals are just $3 from 4 to 8 p.m., along with kids' activities. And don't forget to book your child's next birthday party in the McDonald's Play Place, where it's hosted and you get the cake, food, drinks, and we clean up the mess, all for one price. Call for details and scheduling at 812-883-1976. No matter what the temperature is outside, you'll be loving it at McDonald's.
If you're looking for a church in the area, try Turning Point Church at 899 West McLean Avenue in Scottsburg. Come see Pastor John Jackson and the congregation at Turning Point, a place of second chances and new beginnings. Regular services are on Sundays at 10 a.m., Tuesday prayer time at 7 p.m., and Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Check them out on Facebook, YouTube, or online at turningpointchurchscottsburg.com for upcoming events, class times, and more. You can also catch Pastor John on WSLM 97.9 FM and WSLM 1220 AM each Sunday morning at 8:15 a.m. Also, Turning Point will be having a food giveaway for the community on January 6th and 20th from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. or until the food runs out.
Introduce your family and friends to one of Salem's oldest traditions, home cooking from Mama Rosa's in Salem. Whether you're getting that one-of-a-kind tasting pizza, baked spaghetti, hot sandwiches, or a variety of other Italian food and artisan pizzas, Mama Rosa's has something for everyone. Open Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 for dining and carry-out, Friday and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mama Rosa's brings their famous pizza buffet to you on Fridays from 11 to 2 for just $12.99. Choose from a wide variety of pizzas, homemade soups, and a large salad bar with their homemade potato salad, slaw, and desserts. Then come back for Friday night's home-style buffet from 4:30 to 8 or 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays for $15 for adults and $7 for children.
Big Fox Entertainment presents The Rick Burgess Show with Speedy, Greg Burgess, Eddie Van Adler, and Rick Burgess.
Good to be back for a brand new hour. Thank you for being with us all across America and now through modern technology around the world. Glad that you are here, however you are here, whether it be live or archived, whether you're with the Rick Burgess Show radio network. We've got between 60 and 70 stations around the country. Maybe you are watching on YouTube. Maybe you're listening on the TuneIn app. Or maybe you're going with the archives. You got the YouTube archive, the Podcast Daily archive. Maybe you're watching on Blaze TV, that best of hour. Whatever the case may be, we are glad that you are here. And one of our favorites, been telling you about it all day. He's back. The pride of Cape Town, South Africa. It is John Thomas.
It is so good to be with you guys. Wonderful to be back in Birmingham and at the brand new Rick Burgess Show.
John. You know, you arriving this time so near Valentine's Day.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Look at him grinning. The audience is there.
Do you guys have birthdays around Valentine's Day?
Well, the beauty is, Sherry and I have an anniversary on February the 10th. Speedy's wife has a birthday
on the 12th.
On the 12th.
On the 12th. Happy birthday, honey.
Oh, yes. And
John
Greg
Thomas.
just wants you to leave a voicemail for him for no matter what.
Yeah,
it is.
whatever. So basically,
year.
that means the guys have to give their wives back massages for Valentine's Day.
Well,
I'm
that's
in.
perfectly fine.
I'm
yes,
in.
sure. Yes, it is. one of the funniest I've never. It was hilarious. It's a little, but it was funny. Okay, and it was a little children's shirt that you can get for children, little babies, and it says on there, "All my mother really wanted was a back rub." Funny.
That's all she wanted.
That's right. But when the kid's old enough to understand the shirt, you probably want to take it off.
Yeah,
But yeah, that'll be the end of that. So, John, tell us. Here you are. By the way, Gary says hello.
Oh, hello, Gary. hey, tell John I said hey.
And, you just tried to do
I
it,
haven't
Gary.
changed my color.
Hey, wait just a minute. John looks like he's Caucasian.
And yeah, you remember that confusion with Gary? Yeah.
Oh man.
But you are African. You are African.
Born and bred African. Our heritage is African. Our kids are 7th or 8th generation African.
Right.
So
So
you're African.
yeah. So when you get to
That boy Greg.
when you get to
No doubt about it.
well, South Africa, as we've talked about many times, it is a complicated place. So when you get there, this beautiful mix, and sometimes can be a chaotic mix. You come from the line of the British, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean you were born in Africa.
Born
I'm
in
talking
South
about,
Africa.
yeah, and then you have the Afrikaans, and that's more of a Dutch connection, is that right? And those are white people as well.
Correct.
And then you have all the tribes. And there's how many tribes?
Well, we have 11 official languages in our country, English and Afrikaans being 2 of those, and then 9 tribal languages.
Wow.
And they've actually just added a 12th, which is sign language. It's an official language now, sign language.
So, and then of course we're all thankful that apartheid was defeated and removed, but and Mandela did a good job of kind of keep making that transition smooth, but unfortunately after his death, some of the chaos erupted of the grab for power and that. What's the update on all that?
The African National Congress, which is the party that Mandela was part of,
Yeah.
for the first time lost its majority and has had to go, this was in May last year, and has had to go into a government of national unity, or coalition government.
Yeah.
And it's working well so far. It's quite a broad coalition government.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of optimism for the country. The economy's doing better.
Good.
And it's diverse, the government, with very different political views, as happens in a coalition government. So Ramaphosa is still the president. He was the president before they lost power, but he retained sufficient, or the largest majority, so he has stayed the president. But you've got all sorts of different views now within the government of national unity, which I think is very positive.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's been a while since we've had that positive of an update on the state of the government. Did you hear that? Look what you've caused. That is this wind thing that we have coming down the hallway, and we're not sure. It almost sounds like tea going off.
It does.
You know, like a kettle of tea.
Could be the wind of the spirit.
Oh, it could be.
Very good. Very good.
I was telling everybody earlier that you are credited with my consumption of coffee. I did not drink coffee until Sherry and I and the children came to South Africa, and you were the one that told me that my problem was I'd never had real coffee, and you made me some wonderful African coffee, and I've been drinking it ever since. Now I'm a little bit of a prude though, because you gave me such good coffee. I have to have, the
decent coffee.
Yeah, the top 1% Arabica. A little bit. I'm a little bit of a
coffee snob.
A little bit of a coffee snob, and a sausage ball snob. Which you don't see that. You don't see that. You don't see that a lot.
Sorry for him.
So anyway, but and of course, I guess you still are hearing for the audience of this show, and of course a lot of them came over from the Rick and Bubba show. But you've become quite popular with people all over the United States because of you being on this show. Yeah. And,
well, thank you.
Yeah, and of course I know what you're thinking, and I don't see any way we're going to do it. The four-wheelers. Your schedule, and it looks like we're going to have dinner together with Avril, your wife, and Sherry, so that'll be great. But When's the last time you've been on a four-wheeler?
2 years ago with you.
John.
Isn't that terrible?
He's probably looking forward to it, Rick.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah,
Crush the spirit, buddy.
Well, I mean, his schedule this time, we worked over it, and it looks like that Saturday evening will be our first opportunity.
Yep.
They keep you pretty busy, and a lot of people wonder, like when you come to the States, Greg and I were just talking about it. Tell us what you're here, going out and raising support for what you guys can. We'll get into that when we come back. But that's you're here as there's one of your many pictures. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. Look how happy you are, John.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Is it the power you love?
Yes, the most powerful. I've hit 70 miles an hour on that thing of yours.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And all I can think about is how many people would be upset if John was going wide open on that, and he's my responsibility.
Yeah.
With no crash helmet.
Yes. No, you should see him.
Just stop talking.
You should see him going across that pasture. I mean, it's really,
Hilarious.
really fast.
Letting it in.
Oh, you're running up the fence line.
Yeah.
You know, he runs. I mean, wide open. But you're here to try to get support. Yeah.
To talk a little bit about Living Hope, bringing hope and breaking despair, bringing the hope of Jesus, breaking the despair of poverty and disease. And God has done some wonderful things. And we come to share with churches in the US and friends like all of you listening of an update of what God is doing. I'm no longer the executive director. That has been handed over to my son Victor, who's doing a great job. And it's really a wonderful thing as a dad to see your son stepping into your shoes and doing better than you did. So,
well, those are big shoes to fill. You're humble to say that, but Victor himself would say, you know, if he could just do what you've done. But he is doing a masterful job. So we're going to come back and we're going to talk, get into some of the specific things that are going on. A lot of you out there you're just wonderful. Supporting the Bronner Burgess Memorial Fund either through coffee sales, BuzzBox, which we're all about to get a cup of that, but also some of you just donate directly, and you're going to hear some of what you have been part of when we come back. More with John Thomas on the Rick Burgess Show.
This is the Rick Burgess Show.
If pain's affecting your life, I have the perfect New Year's resolution for you. Make 2025 the year of feeling good again and do it with Relief Factor. This daily supplement fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, it doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce and eliminate it. Give their 3-week quick start a try for $19.95. Call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Whether it's back, neck, muscle, or joint pain, feel good again with the Relief Factor. You can also visit ReliefFactor.com for the 3-week quick start. Head to rickburgessshow.com for a link. The New Year's a great time to reset and purge old things like worn-out sheets and tired, uncomfortable pillows. Check out all the products at mypillow.com/bigbox. All their pillows are on sale right now, as are towels and sheets. And the MyPillow is made with patented adjustable feel, so it adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. This helps to keep your neck aligned and holds it in shape all night long so you get the best sleep. Go to mypillow.com/bigbox and enjoy the savings, or head to rickburgessshow.com under sponsors for a link.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code AIRPORT25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code AIRPORT25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code AIRPORT25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful. Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5 grand. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code AIRPORT25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code AIRPORT25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code AIRPORT25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first, before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up.
Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who else